kale basebole banyabo omuli omutyanno bandiriza ku mukutu gwaffe guno ogwa SML News Yugi oba gwa Simon Muyanga Lutaaya ng'abamu bwe mulaba. Njala kubebaza nnyo nnyini ddala mwenna ababadde batulaba olwa comments ze mwawa sabbiiti ewedde nga twogedde ku mbeera y'abannamawulire. Nfunye abantu bangi ab'ensa abalaba ensonga gye twogerako era ne bagisiima era temubulamu basiiwuufu abalowooza nti bo baali bagezi ddala obutagiraba. Njagala kuddamu nate okubeebaza olw'ekyo era n'olwaleero njagala kumaliriza nsonga eyo. Obubaka buno olwaleero njagala buli yenna asobola mu magezi gonna obubaka buno musale amagezi butuuke ku bantu basatu. Asooka njagala butuuke ku mwami Nyombi Tembo. Nyombi Tembo yakulira ekitongole ekiddukanya ebyempuliziganya mu ggwanga lyaffe ekya Uganda Communications Commission oba mu bufunze UCC. Owokubiri ye Dr. Chris Baryomunsi. Dr. Chris Baryomunsi ye Minister avunaanyizibwa ku nsonga z'ebyamawulire ne tekinologiya mu ggwanga lyaffe ate era omumyuka wa ssentebe wa NRM ow'ebuvanjuba musajja musawo mutendeke era member wa parliament ow'abantu ba what is that constituency nja kugijjukira ndowooza naye aveeyo mu Bakiga is a minister. Omuntu owokusatu ye Kabwejjungira Yoweri Kaguta Museveni generali yagannyuka jjajjaffe takogga tagenda tavaawo obubaka buno nsaba bumutuukeko. Lwaki? Kubanga manyi nti abantu bano abasatu bokka bwe basalawo ne tubafuukira ekizibu bateeka okufuna solution. Lwaki nkulembeza nnyo Yoweri Kaguta Museveni mu nsonga eno? Mwami Museveni utafaanako n'abapulezidenti balala ayina ebintu bye mbagamba bulijjo banne bonna bye baatya Museveni bwe yajja n'atabitya. Omanyi bw'oba onaavuganya omuntu kirungi okutegeera gw'ovuganya kyakusinga. Kirungi nnyo 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 okutegeera nti ono nvuganya n'ono naye mu butuufu ansinza kino. Abantu abasinga obungi kibalemesezza butakkiriza nti gundi akusinga. So Yoweri Kaguta Museveni alina ebintu bingi byasinga abakulembeze abaasooka naye nabo era balina bye bamusinza. Katugeze mwami Yoweri Museveni si mulungi nnyo mukola sipiiki bw'ogerageranya ne sipiiki z'Obote bwe zaalinga ne sipiiki za Amini. Mwami Museveni akola anyumya emboozi. He tells a story. Mr. Museveni does not make an address. He will tell a story. It's a conversation. And it's a style of speech. Obote yakolanga speech ekulaga waatandikidde n'omanya waanaamalira. Era ng'ebintu ebisinga obungi bibeera ebyo ebiwandiikiddwa obulungi. Mwami Museveni kyasingira ddala obutamanyira ddala kyekintu ekitibwa speech empandiike. Ebyo mugamba muzimanyi pulezidenti wa Amerika bw'ajja ebigambo babiwandiika byayogera byakomako nedda. Mwami Museveni yajja ne speech ng'erimu ebigambo 500 naye ng'okugizimba ogisoma asomerako ebigambo ebirala 2500. So but that's him. Era bw'oba omunyumirwa mu mboozi eyo conversation you will enjoy him. Amini ebyate byalinga byangu yajjanga na action. Kola kino kola kiri, kola kino kola kiri, kola kino kola kiri. So Bote was a good speaker, was a good orator, straight to modern interpretation. Museveni speaks well, and is so original. Museveni is original in his speeches because he blends his speeches with African tradition, with common storytelling, that common poetry that others may not have. Naye ate Amini bonna Amini ne Obote. Amini asinga mwami Museveni ne Obote okwagala ensi ye. Amini teyekolayo kintu kiki kyoga nti kati yaleka wana akeedi oba pulaza oba kino kikino. Amini teyatwaganako nti oba ayina yente oba embuzi nga bibye. Amini yalinga Amini y'omuntu kyanaalya kikyakiriirawo ne biggwa. Ebisigadde byonna Idi Amini yabikolera ggwanga. Era nze buli lwe mpulira abantu abamujjajinga n'obukambwe mbanenya. Bw'ogeraageranya ebitabo mwami Museveni bye yasoma n'Amini bye yasoma, n'ogeraageranya embeera Amini we yabeerawo ne mwami Museveni waabeereddewo, n'ogeraageranya nakati n'Amini gwe yalina, toyinzaga nti Amini yali mukulembeze mubi mu budde bwe mu mbeera eyo n'ebyaliwo. He was one of Africa's greatest of all time mu kiseera kye. Mwami Museveni naye abadde mulungi mu budde bwe with different factors favoring him. Abantu Museveni bakulembera babadde bantu bayivu bagezi bategeevu okusinga Amini be yakulembera. Ebiseera biri abantu abasinga obungi gavumenti nga kumpi yebategeerera ekyokukola. The civilian population was that. Bano mwami Museveni baalina baagala na kumuvuga kumpi kumujjayo bantu abaagala ennyo okwetegeerera. Kale mwami Museveni mu bintu ebimbadde njogerako bye yakola ebyenjawulo byasinza banne. Museveni teyatya mawulire. Obote n'Amini baatya nnyo amawulire ne batagakkiriza kukola byago. Era bannamawulire bangi baasibwa baakubwa balina emboozi eziraga nti baatya. Mwami Museveni bw'aba ne bannamawulire baatya tubalabye mu byafaayo bye abakonfrontinga. Mwami Museveni yali tayagalira ddala mwami gwe bayita Onyango Obo, Bawafula Ogutu na bano Bandru Mwenda for the first mwali mu kusooka. Naye era wadde yali tabaagala yabayitanga n'asisinkana nabo n'abafeesinga n'abadibetinga ne bawandiika naye n'akwata peni n'awandiika n'abawa mu lupapula lwabwe olwaddeeremu ntanga nti kino mukiseemu ng'awakanya bye baayogedde. Abalala awaamini obudde obukuwakanya mbu awandiike eyo nnyonnyoleko teyabulinanga ng'akima bukimi mutwe gwo ogwogedde nanga nti muleete engalabi ye. Chop off that head ebagujjako ne bakuwona. Kale mwami Museveni tatidde nnyo bannamawulire nga banne bwe baali. Era olw'okuba teyabatya mwami Museveni yademystifyinga kye bayita amawulire nti Obote yafuga ne rediyo emu, rediyo Uganda nga gye baawulamu, rediyo Butebo simanya ani naani. Era mbagamba bulijjo nti kasita wawambanga rediyo Uganda ng'otutta obuyinza. Mwami Museveni kati waliwo rediyo 200 radio stations, tulina TV stations. By the last time I had a count zaali 40 stations, 40 TV stations, 200 radio stations and a number of newspapers. Bali banna abasooka baabitya ebyo. Era bw'owulira emboozi z'abakolera mu mawulire mu biseera ebyo, total state control. You do not have the absolute freedom to say the nonsense we say today and you remain scot-free. That's not to mean that under Mr. Yoweri Museveni every journalist has enjoyed. No, many have suffered. There are those who have even been disabled. We have journalists who have been disabled. We have those who have lost their lives. We have those who are suffering because they felt to be gagged. There are also those who are gagged. Nevertheless, the rate, the number of those that suffered under those other first regimes is different from those suffering today. And the cases differ. Mwami Museveni bw'oba oli mawulire gongo okuba bukubi emboozi yo ayinza obutakweraliikirira nnyo, wabula bw'alaba nga agabadde amawulire ogatwistinze to do some politicking and become a threat to his government, wabeera obuzibu. Kale bannamawulire mu nteekateeka y'amawanga gonna agaakula edda bali limu ku masiga okutuula demokrasiya. Bwe tuba tusomesa demokrasi Makerere, ngamba Makerere kwanza gye nasomera nawe yogere ewuwo, twogera ku masiga asatu, the three arms of government, or the three estates of government. Ne twogera ku the executive, president ne baminister, ne tugenda ku legislature, abaka ba parliament oba engeri yonna ebeeretereddwawo mu ggwanga eryo okolanga amateeka n'ebiragiro, ne tugenda ku judiciary, ekitongole ekitaputa enkozesa y'amateeka mu ggwanga mwe muba muli. Abo bonna kuga nti abawerekera be bannamawulire be tuyita fourth estate, abateekwa okulaba nti abo ebitongole ebyo ebisatu bikola emirimu mu ngeri egoberera okwagala, obwetaavu n'okubaawo kw'abannansi bonna, bwe kiteekwa okubeera mu buli ggwanga. So ebeera nsobi ddala bwe baba nga the fourth estate bannamawulire nabo nga bino ebitongole ebisatu bibamize, kiba kya bulabe nnyo. Era ensonga lwaki ndi nammwe olwaleero baga nti tuteekwa okufaayo okutaasa ekitongole ky'ebyamawulire. Yensonga lwaki singa ebitongole bino ebisatu abalamuzi, parliament ne executive bimira bannamawulire ne baba nga bakolera byo, kitegeeza nti the fourth estate eba tekyaliwo, tuba tusigazza bali. Ate nga kyekiriwo olwaleero basebo ne banyaba ebigambo bino mbyogera sirina gwe ngoberera, kubanga mpulira sabbiiti eyo waliwo abawumba tuutu abankubira amasimu. Manye ekirungi kya media eno gye tulina ennaku zino gwe mulembe ne gwe tulina omukisa ogw'okwogera. So bwe nayogera bye nayogera, waliwo abawumba tuutu abankubira amasimu okunnumba. Simanyi lw'ogudde onaalusobola, lw'otandise onaalusobola, simanyi if we can also expose you, simanyi you also have dates, oyina amabanja mangi, naffe tujja ku exposinga, tulina amabanja. Waliwo omugungube gwegwa simanyi you have dates. I can't, let me tell you people, tuleme kusirwala kutuuka ku ddali amabanja loans, credit has never been an issue of discrediting anybody. Abantu bangi bagadde nnyo okukozesa ensonga buli lwoyogera Muyanga olina amabanja. Yes, nina amabanja iterio, nina amabanja olova, naye tebuli bbanja libbe. Nina amabanja g'essente ze neewola ze sinnasasula, nina amabanja ga looni ze nakozesa ne zitavaayo mu business, nina mabanja ge nina, and these are public debts. Gali rightly thought kyandibadde kyanjawulo singa nti Muyanga wabba gundi. Nina amabanja agakyannemya okusasula, and I have not allowed any idiot whatsoever okozesa amabanja gange nkoza nti asobola okunfugirako oba okukyusa endowooza zange. No, mabanja gange ngeesasulira mpola era tegakwatagana na ntegeera yange. Kibi nnyo gwe okulowooza nti amabanja kive gyendi obanga avumye banka eyagamba, banka weyanga yasesinga, because banka temala gakuwa looni nti Muyanga tukuwadde looni ya miliyoni 2. They assess you, and many times bakuwa ebbanja nga liri far less than your worth. So bwebanga banka zana assessing and zimpa amabanja, they know I have capacity to pay. It may be a matter of time, but they will get their money. N'abalala bonna bw'obeera nti omusajja yandya ssente zange yankuba, simanyi yangu yaguya bikibwe bikiri, naawe oli muwutta gwe yawoono looni ne batakusasula, kitegeeza naawe oli mubisi, oli muwutta. If you did not have capacity to assess the credit worthiness of the person gwowadde loan, naawe ng'omuntu obaako obuzibu. Obanga omanyi nti omuntu gwawa ssente omwekakasa, gwawola looni okakasa credibility ye and capacity to pay, it's a matter of time that you have to be patient that you will be paid. Idiocy does not clear loans. Blackmail does not pay any loan. So buli lwoyogera abantu media houses mu Uganda, bannamawulire kati embeera mwe bakolera, muteekwa okutegeera mwe betukoleramu nti amawulire ge mulaba si ge gava mu nda zaabwe. Tuli ku bantu abaleka amawulire amatufu agali mu nda ye n'akuwa ekyokungulu ekigenda omuyisaawo. Era waliwo abantu batono nnyo abakiresistinze. Manyi, the people you need to note, waliwo abantu ababadde wano nga ne bwaba mwami Museveni agezezzaako okugamba nti bano nkola ntya, kubanga bannamawulire abasinga obungi bwe balemereddwa okweyimiriza mu mulimu gw'amawulire nkugambye nti bakoledde gavumenti. Bannabyabufuzi baawamba ekitongole ky'ebyamawulire. Politicians here control the media. Politicians here have gagged this institution called journalism. You cannot find anything, this profession. Abantu abamu nga bawafula ogutu basobola okunyumiza nti gavumenti eyagala okubatwala bagikole ne bagaana ne basigala ku mulamwa gw'amawulire gaabwe. They did not go, they did not give in. That's why Charles Onyango boy is not here. The best journalist I respect, the best journalist I know, the best writer I have loved, one man who writes and I don't want to miss his writings, is called Charles Onyango Obo. I have followed his consistency. I have followed his love for this country. I've followed his self-respect. I don't even think we have met. Unfortunately, in all my reporting career, the 25 years I've been in Uganda, I have never got an opportunity to meet Charles Onyango Obo. But I follow him to the latter on Twitter, mu nation media. I love his consistency. Oyo y'omu ku batono ennyo bakaawu n'abaga nti ebirala byonna bijja waakiri bwe kiba kitegeeza kuva wano n'avaawo, but I cannot lose. Abala bonna baba batwala naye ng'ekibatwala ki? Survival. Bannamawulire okwagala okubaawo, okusasula rent, okusomesa abaana, okufuna emmere, beetunze ne beewaayo ne bagulwa ne batwalibwa ne bata profession yaffe. This government of Uganda made a mistake. The very reason I'm appealing to Mwami Nyombi Tembo, that it was a mistake in the first place to over-license the media. Ne bagulawo emikutu gy'amawulire radio olina abangaaga b'ebijanjaalo. Accept that we over-licensed, and because we over-licensed, we made it easy for anyone, including idiots, to own a media house. Twakiriza abayaayi, twakiriza ababbi, twakiriza abafere, to do all the machinations around them, to own media channels. Era se bwe bakuleetera bannannyini mikutu gy'amawulire mu Uganda olwaleero n'obalaba ne basimba olayini waliwo nga nti even this one nani kati ono asobola ki nga bo kye baliko ne amawulire tebikwataganira ddala, because the absolute purpose of owning a media house would be to support the freedom of speech and the free flow of information. Bannaffe abamu sajja bali wano nga ibo media house kyebayambye kwenderako. Buli muwala asabayo omulimu bamwagala mwebakako, abamu babebakako. I know them. I have dared them. Waliwo yali amanyira wiiki eyombwala naga nti dared, he said we can expose you. Oyina amabanja, nina amabanja go expose me, leeta amabanja gange nange nkubulira abaana boozadde mu baana b'abandi abateetegese, just because you have a TV station to give them jobs. The people are not supposed to. So, anyway, Msasa, I don't want anger to overpower me because I have a point to make. So, Mwami Nyombi Tembo, ne Mwami Chris Mario Munsi must accept today that we over-licensed media channels in Uganda. And over-licensing them, we relaxed the licensing conditions. We made it easy for every buffoon, idiot, to own a media channel. Twakkiriza buli muntu n'abatategedde buvunaanyizibwa ki kye bagenda kukola, n'abatategedde obligation y'eki kye bagenda kukola, to own a media house balina emikutu. That was wrong. And we did it at once. Lero ogenda mu UCC wano ne bakuga nti tewakyaliyo radio frequencies. Gendayo mu Uganda Communications Commission tebakyalina frequency, tebakyagaba mikutu. Mu Uganda twakifuna nti every district has a radio station. In some districts they have even more than 3. In Jinja here, just one district called Jinja, you have NBS, you have Baba, you have Soga 1, you have Voice of Soga, you have Simanyi Operation Philip, you have Apex, you have Simanyi. There are so many. Just one district. Now, that defeated the purpose for which we wanted media houses. Tell me, I even wonder what country we are running. Twagala buli district yonna kati advantage yokka eriwo nti buli district erina radio eyogera olulimi lwayo. Aboogera Olugwere balina radio, Abalamoje waffe ndowooza bwe batannafuna, Abasoga balina, Abanyoro balina, Abatoro balina. So olunaku olumu owulira radio station nga buli omu eyogera olulimi lwabwe. That was what Mr. Museveni envisaged, that radio stations or media houses can support the growth of culture and language for every area. But that again defeats his own East African doctrine. You want Uganda to be part of a global community called the East African community. One day we move with the steps to build a bigger block to belong to. The other day we are building smaller units so every other day so that we de-Ugandanize ourselves and belong there. People speak so much as I am a Mutoro, I come from Kamwenge, I'm from Chegegwa. That's okay. We have frustrated people to feel that he's in Kaliro, born in Kaliro, bred in Kaliro, is too much of Kaliro. Kaliro must have a radio station. He must be Kaliro, 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 Kaliro. Then the following morning you wake up and say, we are working for a bigger community called East Africa. That's confusion. Abasoga kati omuzabu zoti na nala kanaba. Toma na maadi gali kumuvwamu. Oba maine, oba maadi gano gali kunaba. Musoga ako batele bwobona nala soko ile kumbali onale mo nabe so tikubikola biyombi kuba otubuzabuza twalaba kutegeera licensing conditions, and in softening licensing conditions we never monitored and followed up. Government yafa ku kintu kimu kyokka butakkiriza ba opposition kufuna frequencies. Dr. Besigye does not own a radio station. Many of these opposition politicians do not own radio stations, and remember the law in Uganda does not allow a political party to own a media house. At least you cannot get into Nupu kati yesituse eyagala bene TV ya Nupu ebere ne radio ya Nupu FDC ebere ne radio FDC ne TV ya FDC NRM and the others alike bachigana. Wabula your government where yagana about opposition and the political parties to own radio station. Imagine, you know, this some of these things this is some kind of madness. Government does not allow political parties to own radio stations, media houses, but it allows churches, Pentecostal churches, to own. The reasoning they give is that when you give political parties media houses, they will use them to demobilize the public, and you never know, they may be ripe for disaster. They can use these channels to mobilize citizens into dissent or eventually into rebellion. The same can happen with churches and Pentecostals. In some countries, the wars that have ravaged those countries came from religious disagreements. This is history. We know this. We have read. So your government yakolabo yalemesa abalala okufuna political parties. Nekkiriza NRM okufuna. NRM, the party, does not own any media house. But majority of the media channels in Uganda are owned by NRM politicians. Era be batuka byamaziga. And this one, only Mr. Museveni can save us. Why? Parliament is a kututasa nga kumpi buli ali mu parliament alina radio station. The speaker has a radio station, he has a media house. The deputy speaker has a media house. Majority of the members of parliament, they have media houses. Many of these media houses, you see, are owned by them. So they cannot atebe batasasula. Say for the speaker, I want to be clear. I told you that abakole bukedeya, that bukedeya FM, they get their money. But here Ani, Mike Mukula, Captain Mike Mukula, National Vice Chairman of NRM in charge of Eastern, he has for long been owning media houses. He pays abantu be. He should be able to share with others how you run a media house and pay people. Basire ekyokutasasula bannamawulire okolanga tebalina contract ne ba house gale ennaku zino ba housemates baba bajja tubakolera agreements. At least for me, I know. I have a housemaid, gwenkozesa, maidi wange alina contract, n'omusala gw'amanyi olunaku lwagufuna, ne be yasayininga okukola abimanyi. It's written. How do we live an industry that we think is an integral part of democracy, is an integral part of society, is an integral part of our economy, is an integral part of our growth, to move at its own without anybody minding about this. So, Mr. President, this is an appeal that you should send to Mr. Museveni. Your Excellency the President, Jaja, your idea to liberalize the media was a good one. The idea to allow every community own radio station if they wanted it was a good one. The idea to let the media become a business for some people surviving, or what should I even say? They're at the verge of collapse. First of all, they have become expensive. But the level of exploitation in the media industry is bigger than the level of exploitation in the Arab countries where our friends are going to work as maids or house girls. And everybody seems to know it, but everybody is quiet. Mwai 7, it is you to wake up today and demand that all persons owning media houses, these politicians, all organizations owning media houses must run them professionally. First, review their licensing conditions and make it a condition that before we license you to run a radio station, give us a budget of how you are going to run. Tulage sente zoyina ku account gwagenda okugwa radio station. Tulage contracts z'abakozi bogenda okozesa. Tulage income streams zolina other than this radio station. What other income streams do you have that are going to sustain this radio station or TV station you're running or newspaper? It happens. Let the Uganda Communications Commission ask every media house, every proprietor to deposit security guarantee. Kambawo ekyokulabirako. Mu Uganda bw'obeera oyagala okutwala abantu ebweru, kubanga nagwo omulimu guliko ssente nnyingi, ng'oyagala okutandikawo kampuni etwala ba house girl ebweru kubanga kuliko ssente, osasula security guarantee ya $1,150,000. Ezo oziwaayo mu gavumenti ng'ekigendo kya ssente ezo nti bwe walibaayo omwana afiira ebuwalabu n'akulema okuzza, at least gavumenti erisobola okuzza ku ssente ezo. Walibaawo abantu b'otakozesezza ng'olina ensobi gy'okoze balikwatako ezo ssente. How do you do it for house girls and you don't do it for journalists? Demand now, and you can demand now. I know that I cannot have support when the majority of the people who own media houses are politicians in the parliament, so they cannot legislate fair about this. But we are dying. Journalists here are poor. Journalists have become even more of a problem than house girls to politicians. Bannamawulire basabiriza. Bannamawulire bagwamu olw'omwenge. Bannamawulire babagoba mu nnyumba enkya n'eggulo baswala. Bannamawulire bajjudde looni z'evereweya. Bekisoga wadizi kugunirira. Bagunirira kyabitawo. And I have a list of media houses. I am very happy and I want to thank you that the whole of this week, from the time I talked, people have been sending me media houses that don't pay in the box, and I have them because twine ezisasula. It means that we have abantu babipakira ne bafa wano gende ebweru bagenze to benchmark kitegeeza tugende tulabe ewalala yo bakikola batya. Bwe tubanga tuli mu industry nga CBS esasula, nga Salt Media esasula, nga NTV esasula, nga NBS Television esasula, nga Daily Monitor esasula, nga Vision Group esasula, ate zino embalaasi ezitasasula zo ziwa nsonga ki? Because kisoboka, the fact that Bujingo can pay as a church-owned station, the fact that Karisa can pay as a business person, the fact that NTV can pay as an institutional media, the fact that New Vision can pay as a public corporation gives you an indication that under all circumstances, the media houses have capacity to pay. CBS pays. It is an institutional owned media belong to Uganda Kingdom. It means that you don't need to go outside the country to benchmark. Call these people mubabuuze nti mwami Bujingo gwokozesa abakozi bameka obasasula otya. CBS call mwami Kasozi personnel waffe, personnel of all time. I told you the other that Robert Kasozi personnel wa CBS wetaaga omumanya. He's the greatest human resource manager, the greatest personnel I have known, the greatest of all time. Zali wano ku CBS mubuuze kwanga nga Kasozi tannakuwa mulimu ate kulula mu budget gyanaga nti ono ze muwaziragawa Muyanga ya resigninga nga afuna miliyoni emu n'ekitundu. So Muyanga bwaba ya resigninga natwekera miliyoni emu n'ekitundu mu human resource go develop yaffe sente zirimu abaana bakava ku university ba graduates abalanga basatu abafuna emitwalo 5 so they recruit 3 not to add the salary burden but to share what Muyanga has been taking. The rest of the idiots don't care. Call him. I'm giving you examples, no circumstances. If CBS, a kingdom-owned media, can pay, you have Mwami Bujingo, who is a private person running from a church founded. You have NTV, which is the Aga Khan owned, is an institution. You have New Vision, a public corporation. You have Daily Monitor, a private media house. They can pay. Consult them. Ask them, benchmark on them. You don't need to get money to go out. Okay. If that's not enough, you can benchmark with CNN, with BBC, with Al Jazeera. CNN is I don't know how many years old. BBC is so many years old, and all through. Whoever has had an opportunity to work at the BBC has a story to tell. It's the best institution in the world in terms of welfare, staff welfare and growth. Mubabuuze bakikola batya. Niba netukoye media houses ezitasasula tuzikoye. Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the people you invite, and I'm saying this because Mr. Museveni knows that for him to run his government, that for him to communicate to the public, he needs journalists. And time after time, they invite press conferences in the State House. This government holds press conferences at the media center every week. This President Museveni's press secretary, Mwami Faruk Chirunda, publishes press releases almost on a daily. We get on our media, on our emails, mu media houses zaffe. Tufuna emails exactly what the president is doing. The president is covered in detail with photographs, with videos, with stories from Uchonna Chakola. So you know that you really need the media, but you're not helping it. Mr. Museveni, the people who come to you for your press conferences are not paid. Mubaita Noga and the president is going to make a national address and you want all radio stations to tune. They are not paid. Tebakulimba because government esasula birango. No. We know that government has not paid for adverts for some media houses. Government has not paid for the business they do. Naye abamu bwe bazibasasudde ne batazibasasudde toyawula bali tulina babbi bennyini. It's an industry of thieves. There is a lot this mafia group tebasasula oba yazifunye oba teyazifunye. Waliwo yankosa nanimba okumala emyaka ndowooza emeka nga nimba kimu kyokka. You know Manja Nairobi is million 3. Manja Nairobi is over 500 million. Manja Nairobi is over this one. That's why they are not paying. Some Nairobi is tesasulanga. The next thing I'm going to do is to expose Nairobi is here for not paying my boss, because my boss is not paying me a salary, saying that Nairobi has never paid him. That should be the way to go. Waliwo abantu bamaze omwaka mulamba nga tebabasasula musaala babagamba ekintu eki anti twakola bino twasasula wano bakola tebatusasula. Why should we run like this? So I'm making a public appeal to Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, our Minister of Information, to Mr. Nyombi Tembo, the Executive Director of Uganda Communications Commission, to you, Your Excellency, the President. I have made an appeal to the Speaker, and I think I have not gotten response. Besides, she has not responded. But those are the issues that we should help us. And I know why the Speaker cannot respond to this. And that Anita Among, the Speaker of Parliament, or Parliament and the 11th Parliament, loves high MPs so much and does not want in any way to antagonize them. Yet majority of the people who are not paying the workers for their radio stations are members of Parliament here who own media channels. So the speaker, I know, is excused. She may not be able to antagonize her constituents, her voters, because I know from experience that Anita Among treats members of parliament as number one priority, because she knows that that's her constituents. They are her voters. Mr. President, this I will say till those who meet you will tell you. We cannot all be bought. We cannot have all the journalists turn into other DCs. We cannot have all the journalists become assistant other DCs. We cannot have all the journalists swallowed into the civil service, because bonna bwe banaamala okugenda ne bagenda bakola mu gavumenti ate bannamale be muyita mu press conference okwogera gavumenti byekoze muli bajjawa. But they're not paying. The industry is collapsing. I would like to encourage government, please come up, investigate, take up this matter, investigate the conditions under which Uganda journalists work. Bababulirako kimu kyokka, poliisi etukuba, poliisi etubonyabonya, poliisi emenya kamera, n'olyoka obalaba nga bayise waliwo bano aba NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters. NAB eyise press conference, eyise press conference nga kyesize poliisi yakubyemu n'amawulire n'emumenya okugulu, poliisi yamenye kamera. There they will invite a press conference and the National Association of Broadcasters will speak. Nene bwoba wandika obaga nti munnammwe gundi tasasula, they don't speak. NAB knows for sure that Baba TV does not pay. NAB knows for sure that Top TV does not pay. NAB knows for sure that there are many channels zenjogereko ezitasasula. Bu TV bwabalokola obusinga obungi n'obu radio tebusasula. Eyo NAB tesituka. Wabula NAB bwewuda nti sente za gavumenti yerudde otusasula sente za covid era gavumenti teyasasula birango bya covid. Gavumenti ne bw'enasasula sente z'ebirango bya covid era abamu tebajja kusasula bakozi. We must wake up now to save our media. Some of us are what we are because of this industry. Our growth ensi eno gye bayita Uganda okubanga nange mmanyi nti oye Muyanga Lutaaya is because of journalism. Abaana bange okusoma n'okulya nange kennyini byenfunye mbifunye because of journalism. I cannot allow journalism to die. I have sacrificed many things. The reason I've remained here, not worked elsewhere, even here, I don't even put abasiru, I chose to be this. I can be what you want or what you think, but I chose to do this. I love it. Outside Uganda and even earn better, but I chose to be this. Because it's not about money. It's about passion. It's about what I love. So, this public appeal, I want to make it in summary, should reach His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the Minister of Information and National Guidance in our country, na ICT yako, should reach the Parliament of Uganda. The Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the Republic of Uganda must come up, review the licensing conditions of media houses, review the employment terms of journalists, review this industry. Where possible, you can recall some licenses, registrations, if not, let government create a fund for journalists so they can survive. We no longer have independent journalists here because they are in the pockets of politicians, they're in the pockets of institutions, they're surviving on handouts. They are all over. You see them in town, you invite a press conference and invite on the 4 media houses and you see like they come like a swarm of locusts. Where you want 10 media houses, just 10 journalists, you get 200. We must wake up now. Mwami Museveni, Mwami Baryomunsi, Mwami Nyombi Tembo, bannabyabufuzi abasinga wano kwana emikitu gy'amawulire, abalina radio ne TV, tebasasula bakozi. Bekwasa ndi mubasaba omusolo mungi. We need to look at that. A media house is paying too much in tax to UCC. That is why they cannot pay salaries. Is it because you are overcharging them because of manual or no government? Simanyi free to air. You pay for Signet. You pay for DSTV. You pay to belong to Go TV. You pay for so many pay TV. A lot of money. Never said German bemulaba. Ezo zoba zifuna. Nasasula Star Times. Nasasula DSTV. Nasasula Go TV. Nasasula Azam. Nasasula Zuku. Asolo kusigala ku mukutu. Nenga baba koza abakola byatwala ku mukutu ogwo. Tabasasula. Tekisoboka. We can review all these things. Is it the sentence of Asasula Kupe TV? Is it the cost that is failing them? Is it taxes? Is it URA? Is it UCC? Lwaki tebasasula abakozi? Bannamawulire bateekwa okusasula, because journalism is not a crime. Pay your journalists, pay the people you have employed. Media houses must stop abusing the freedom and right to progress y'abannamawulire. This must stop. Media houses ezisasasula nzibagambye, and I have evidence. Mr. President, we are waiting for your action. I will sing and sing. I have been threatened. People have said they want to shoot me. People have said I'm trading in an area where I cannot trade. People are saying no, all the media houses will fear to work with me. Not only the stupid ones will fear to work with me. And I cannot fail to have a media house to work with. This one I can tell you. What way be to Katonda byanso bingiranga byagwa. It cannot be. Bwabanga batasa tebagala kola iri abasobola okukola nange. Now why shouldn't Ujingo work with me? Because njogera ku bantu abatasasula bakozi nga yasasula. So lwaki ati okukola nange? Why shouldn't Karisa, who pays, work with me? Why can't TV that pays work with me? Era aba batasasula be batyo okukola nange ate nange era mbadde sogenda kukola nabo because they don't pay. I am 46. I'm a professional person. I went to school. And an idiot from Busoga believes I can work for him for 1 year without pay and starts blackmailing me around. You know, when you keep talking about, you know what we go through to run these things. I will blackmail. You have a mabanja. Nasasula mabanja go bichi. Don't blackmail with these loans. The reason I have loans is because you never paid me. If you paid me and started very well, I would be able to offset loans. This is idiocy. The reason I cannot pay my debts is because I worked for people who did not pay. They took my time, used my expertise and knowledge, and they never paid me. I am one person, and I'm not saying I want to be paid, me the person. I am here for the plight of more than 10,000 journalists in Uganda, because there are very many, because of the many radio stations you have established. Every radio station has like 40 staff, and they are not being paid, so they are over. There is an arm of journalists in this country. Bazunga buzunzi na kulebeta bana byafuzi kunywa mwenge ku mikolo kulwanira mbere kukola bwe bati. No. Your Excellency, Mr. President, Mr. Mukama wange Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, Mukama wange Nyombi Tembo, mutuulenga Gavumenti. Musabe Parliament erone ekyokola. If it requires an amendment in our laws, mukikole naye musasule bannamawulire. For God and my country.